Lissa sa kanyang presentation ngayong gabi. Tayo po'y makinig at matuto.
Ayan.
No further introduction, overexposed na nga po. Thank you. Tingnan ako. Okay, good evening po. Magandang gabi. Ayan, as promised, I'm gonna share with you tonight Stephen Covey's time management matrix. Isa po to dun sa diniscuss natin during the alphabet, right? Why is it very important? Kasi we have infinite things to do. Okay? In a day, in a week, in a month. And kung di po natin, and time is luxury. Unlimited siya. 24 hours a day lang. And we have to rest 8 hours para hindi tayo kapitan ng COVID. So, sa management po, like ako, I was a project manager when I was with the bank. We develop products. We develop campaigns. Very important po yung time management because, and to everyone actually, it is very important because sa Japanese discipline, may tinatawag silang project schedule or WBS, work breakdown schedule. And they will really monitor you on a weekly basis. Minsan, pag wala pang tiwala on a daily basis nung simula na wala pa akong track record sa kanila, they will really monitor you every day. But up until nagkaroon na ng trust na you deliver, you're on track at hindi ka delayer, and di ka nagsaslide sa mga timelines mo, they will really ease up a bit. So magkakaroon na lang ng milestone or exception. Sa Americans, meron din tinatawag na Gantt chart. Alam natin yan, di po ba? Yun din, project schedule din naman yun. And normally, milestones lang din. And some are practicing yung MBE na tinatawag or management by exception. Magre-report lang if there are extraordinary delays or exceptions. Yan. So, yung mga ano po natin ngayon, mga startups, mga project developments ng technology, yan. I'm sure sila Sir Rads na experience nila yan yung pagpa-project nung ginagawa tong fintech, no? Tong ating platform. May tinatawag na agile. Agile is per milestone, hindi mo naiintayin yung karamihan. Every time meron kang maliit na milestone, pwedeng tumayo siya independently. Yung isang namang discipline ng Japanese karamihan is waterfall. Iintayin muna lahat bago ilo-launch yung isang product, which is napakatagal. So in this time of our digital revolution, madalas ginagamit na po yung agile approach. So it's a course, it's a degree actually, pero we will not go there. Hindi naman ako certified agile. But when you say agile, may nare-release ka na pwedeng tumakbo na, pwede mo siyang gawing, in a layman's term, pwede ka na mag-parallel. Okay? Like yung ginawa natin sa Rads to Riches, naka-release na ng dalawang services. Hindi siya inintay makumpleto bago matapos. Yun. So, balik tayo kay Stephen Covey. Stephen Covey is the renowned or very popular author of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And one of those habits is that first things first. Okay? So marami pong nagfi-fail sa project management because hindi marunong mag-prioritization. And not even sa project management, sa buhay lang din natin. So, ina-advocate niya itong tinatawag na quadrant or matrix time management. Actually, hindi siya yung nauna dyan si Eisenhower. Merong quadrant din sa Eisenhower sa time management. So, yan. Quadrant 1. Ito po yung important and urgent. Okay? Tingnan po natin yung sa X and sa Y. Okay? important and urgent. Ibig sabihin, kailangan mo siyang pagtuunan ng pansin. Kasi, yun nga, important. So ano-ano po itong crisis? Like what's happening now, yung pandemic, di ba? Yung crisis sa family natin, yung mga may sakit, yung mga inatake, or na-aksidente, yan. Tapos high impact deadlines. Yan, kanina meron akong tinapos na high impact deadlines for my renewable energy kasi hindi natapos agad nung client ko na business owner. And then yung pressing problems. Kung titingnan nyo po yung urgent and important, di ba? Some of these or most of these are uncontrollable. Okay? Ibig sabihin, laging may mangyayaring ganyan. Okay? Pero, ang sinasabi po ng discipline ni Stephen Covey, pwede naman nating wag malagay yung mga items sa quadrant 1. Pwedeng malagay sa quadrant 2. Okay? Sa quadrant 2, dapat na-avoid natin yung crisis. Okay? How? Gusto ko sana mag-roll call kasi gusto ko malaman sinong pinakamarami sa quadrant 1, sa quadrant 2, quadrant 3, at tapos may premyo, di ba? Yung pinakamadaming quadrant 2, yun yung may premyo. Ay sabihin, yun yung pinaka-organized. Okay? So, sa quadrant 2, sinasabi po dyan, being organized. Meaning, prevention is, ba? We don't wait for things to be, kunyari, health crisis. Yan, ikabit po natin dyan sa quadrant 1. Paano natin maiiwasan magkaroon ng COVID? Siyempre, by following the protocols, by being healthy, by eating healthy, by sleeping enough, and following the social distancing, yung face mask, at saka yung face shield. And most of all, avoiding unnecessary going out. Okay? So pag pinalo po ba natin yung best practices na yon, is there really a chance to avoid the crisis? Ang sagot, yes. Kasi otherwise, di na lang natin i-follow, di ba? Okay. So, sa high impact deadlines, how does being organized work? Siyempre, di po ba, when we, like ako, I agree to be in the economic team of Sir Rods and Sir Dicky, sa onset pa lang ng pagpa-project, dinidefine na yung mga deadlines. Although ngayon wala pa akong hard deadlines kasi nag-build pa tayo, sir, ng mga meetings, di ba? Kumbaga, pinupuno ko pa yung work breakdown schedule ko. Kaya ang unang tanong ko, ano ang priority? Kasi alam natin yung direction natin, we know the end goal, pero hindi pa natin bini-breakdown kung ano yung components, pero at least naiintindihan na natin kung ano yung una, pangalawa, and pangatlo. But there are a lot of dependencies pa because we're still talking to stakeholders or yung mga sponsors and other players. Okay. Being organized to the pressing problem. Okay po ba? Nakakasunod po ba? Sabihan niyo po ako pag hindi, ha?
Yes, please.
Yun. Sa pressing problems, di ba everyday may nakikita na tayong amoy or symptom of small problems na alam natin in our minds na pag nag-pile up siya, puputok siya as a big problem, sasabog. Yun. So kung di natin ina-address po yung small things na yon na alam natin na will pile up to a bigger problem or a crisis later on, talagang magiging quadrant 1 siya if we don't address it. For example, sa household, natin tumutulo na yung gripo, may konti ng leak, pero hinayaan pa rin natin. So, lumaki siya ng lumaki hanggang hindi na siya matapunan, ano 'to, hindi na siya kailangan na ng tubero or pwede nang magbaha dun sa banyo. Nangyari yan sa neighbor namin, eh, nagbaha yung banyo nila at pati buong bahay. Naiwan din yata yung gripo. So being organized is not, sabi nila, yung too much being organized sa sickness, no? Yung obsessive compulsive. But at a certain degree, kailangan tayong maging organized po. 'Di ba? Doon po sa alphabet of principled living, sinasabi natin, in the morning, we have to make up our bed. We have to clean up. Ngayon, we're working from home. Kailangan meron tayong regimen na naghihilamos pa rin tayo, nag-aayos tayo sa umaga, and then we eat breakfast. May sequence, may routine. Otherwise, we don't acquire good habits. And it's part of a disciplined living. So, yun po yung mga examples ng being organized dun sa mga tangible items sa ating pamamahay. So, nakita ko si Doc Willie Ong tsaka si Dr. Lissa. They're advocating teaching the kids, no, to know how to do house chores this pandemic. Kasi nangyayari puro digital games and video, YouTube, pinapakita natin yung mga YouTuber. Although ako YouTuber din ako, vlogger din ako, aspiring. Pero hindi siya talaga productive if we don't balance it with other house chores. So talagang importante po sa bata na, especially at the age of 4, natuturuan na sila even the smallest chores at home. Kasi kung sisimulan siya ng teenager na, mahirap na yon. Mahirap ibaliin. Okay. So building relationships. Siyempre, hindi naman po overnight lang ang relationship. So what does it mean? I think this is defined actually in the context of corporate people, eh. Kasi sobrang walang balance. Like yung mga executives na pinanginoon na yung pagtatrabaho, they stay up to 10 p.m., 11 p.m. sa corporate job nila, missing on the special and important events in the lives of their children. Di po ba? So, tapos pag uwi pa, laging nakabukas yung telepono, natatawagan pa rin ng kliyente or ng mga boss, hindi na po siya tama. So, it's very important that there's a balance between work and life. So, may rule po dapat na sinusunod din. And I admire executives who really are very stickler to that, na balansyado yung pamilya at yung trabaho. So, like ako, nung araw, meron akong sama ng loob sa nanay ko kasi pinaprioritize na po talaga yung kanyang negosyo tsaka yung mga alaga niyang baboy. Kasi daw yung mga baboy daw may pakinabang. Kami daw gastos lang. So, ang sakit di po ba? Well, naintindihan ko naman kasi siguro masyadong limited ang resources that time. And ilang beses ko nang narinig din yan. But it's not always money that counts, di po ba? Kaya nga maganda magkatulong-tulong eh. Para hindi isang tao lang yung nagkakaroon ng burden to put money on the table. So, ayun. Nagbubukas. Kaya medyo, Sir Rads, meron akong allergy sa tindahan. Kasi yung tindahan namin, kung pwedeng 24/7, Pasko, Bagong Taon, lahat ng okasyon bukas siya kasi sub-dealer kami ng mga soft drinks tsaka beer. So, oo, lahat ng okasyon, gustong-gusto ng nanay ko yan. Malamanap mani pangilinan yan. Hindi kami nagno-Noche Buena. Nandun kami lahat sa tindahan. Tapos, pag nag-brown out, nagbaha, pupunta pa yung nanay ko dun sa bayan kasi mauubos yung kandila niya tsaka yung gas niya. Mabili yung gas, di ba? Pag brown out. Ayun. Susunungin niya yung maglalakad siya sa dike at susunungin niya yung isang galong gas ba yun o isang balde, whatever, para lang maibenta siya. Ang tawag is nakikipagharimunan, which is I can't blame her because she wanted to maximize the opportunity. Pero yun nga yung kikitain mo bang 100, isasakripisyo mo ba yung relationship mo tsaka yung risk na maaksidente ka pa? So yun yung tinatawag na value assessment, di po ba? And sinasabi, you can avoid that if you are planning well and ahead of time. So, good thing ngayon, yung ating disaster risk management ng NDRRMC, medyo na-sophisticate na, di po ba? Planning na sila ahead and nagwo-warning. Sometimes OA lang. Pero I think it's better to be OA than not responsive at all. Pero marami pa rin attitude sa Pilipino na hindi mahilig mag-plan ahead. Pag yung insigida, yung parang, hindi yan totoo. Intayin ko na lang mangyari, tapos magre-react ako. So, and that also goes through for the way we are handling our lives. Yun. So, parang hindi natin nakikita yung mas malinis at maayos na pamamaraan how to get to our destination. Gusto natin parating alarming and highly urgent na nandito na sa quadrant 1. Sobrang galing po sa planning ay ang mga Japanese kasi if you remember the Fukushima tragedy, kasi nasa planning team ako that time, naka-drawing na lahat yung impact assessment nila tsaka paano nila i-rehabilitate. Kaya nakita natin pag 1 buwan pa lang tumatakbo na, di po ba? Kasi nakalatag na lahat yung kanilang rehabilitation steps to address. Yun.
Magaling salita.
Sir?
Kasi ito,
wait lang. Yung yun, yung kabila.
May comment po ba? Yan.
Okay lang, minute ko lang. Meron akong minute.
Okay, sir. So, kanina na pag-usapan natin sa COVID, how do we avoid it? Yun nga, exercise and recreation. Actually, biktima din po ako niyan na sobra rin ako magtrabaho when I was in the corporate. Pinakamaaga kong uwi, 9:00, 10:00. Sometimes hindi pa ako kumakain. And nag-exercise naman ako. I always go to the gym. Pero I always sacrifice yung mga events because
ibig sabihin sa video, hindi ako naka-video sa kanila.
Sir Manny, pwede mo pang-mute? Sir Manny? Thank you. Sige, Lissa, tuloy.
So, because our body, like a machine, pinapagpahinga po talaga dapat. Siguro when we are younger, hindi natin na-appreciate yun, di ba? Pero pag tumungtong na tayo ng 40, ayan, nakikita na natin yung deterioration and depletion ng ating master antioxidant sa katawan. Nakikita na natin yung pagod, nararamdaman na natin siya. So, it's not urgent to quadrant 2, and this I call a habit and discipline core. Ito po yung everyday dapat nagagawa natin for us to have a meaningful life then and not a crisis-filled life. Yun. Pero meron din naman mga extremely na sobrang planning na ang nagiging effect, pinapanginoon na rin naman yung material things, yung pera, yung pag-gym, yung vanity, na to the point na wala nang oras sa ibang bagay na may meaning talaga, like spending with family. So karamihan ng mahilig sa mga vanity, yan yung mga single people. But every one of us is a member of a certain family. So importante talaga yung relationship and friends. Yes. So again, not urgent but important. Yan po ito pong quadrant 2 ang very ideal. Okay? Quadrant 3, not important but urgent. Siyempre yan, yung mga interruptions, yung mga calls na hindi naman necessary, yung mga emails na hindi naman, at saka text. Sa context po ng corporate life, siguro kahit sa bahay din, pero balikan ko muna yung corporate life. Like ako, I had 10 staff back then. Yung 10 staff na yon, imagine if they are not empowered and they don't run independently on their own, they will always go to me and ask me what to do every time. Kung wala silang, hindi sila empowered to do decision making, even on the smallest task, may tendency na lahat itatanong, di ba? So parang naging ano na lang sila, robot. Lahat, Ma'am Lissa, Ma'am Lissa, Ma'am Lissa. I'd like to, modesty aside, yun po yung medyo na-develop ko sa kanila because I'm a trusting leader. So alam nila yung framework ng pagtatrabaho. Even if I got hospitalized for 10 days, which is madalas nung ako yung nagtatrabaho sa corporate, hindi ako burdened ng mga maliliit na tanong. They work independently and defined ang roles nila, defined ang key result areas nila. And they only come to me for consultation or when there is already an impending exception or irregularity na nakikita or mga bagay na hindi na-anticipate. But yung mga bagay na hindi na-anticipate, especially when we do product launching and implementation, dino-document na po yan. So that in the future, at ma-encounter ng ibang tao na hindi sila nag-reshuffle, nag-reassign, mayroong pagkukuhaan na reference, yung documentation na tinatawag. So, sinasabi, urgent not important. Taas po ang kamay kung sinong nakakapag-decide sa atin na quadrant 3 pala yung iba nating interruptions on a day-to-day. Sige nga po, titingnan ko. Sino na po ang magaling mag-identify kung yung urgent and important natin ay not important, eh hindi kailangang pagtuunan masyado ng pansin. Ako wala nagtataas ng kamay. Lahat po ba nasa quadrant 3 ang pamumuhay?
Tatanong ko sana kung pwedeng gumawa ng quadrant 5 eh.
Ano yun, Sir Rads?
Urgent, not urgent, kinda urgent. Hindi, joke lang.
Actually, Sir Rads, yan yung challenge talaga, even sa mga corporate workers. Yung definition nila kung saan nila ipapasok sa quadrant 3. Diba? Like, yun nga, yung some emails, some phone calls, yung quadrant 3, ang sinasabi ng mga project leaders dyan, i-delegate mo siya. So, for some emails, like, di ba, may tendency na yung iba, simpleng tanong lang, ipapasa pa kay Sir Rads. Pwede namang itanong sa coach. Ganon.
Please, nabanggit din.
Yun po yung practical implication nun sa atin. May tinatawag tayong escalation process. Kasi si Sir Rads, tsaka yung ibang coaches din, or let's single point out na si Sir Rads or Sir Dicky, nasa strategic na po sila eh. They are looking after the whole organization. Si Pastor Kino naman, nasa training strategic din, di ba? Although nakasawsaw sila sa day-to-day, it doesn't mean na we have to bog them down for little things na pwede naman nating pag-aralan or pwede nating malaman sa peers or sa coach natin. Yun. So the less po nagtatanong tayo ng mga ganitong bagay, the better because we're freeing them from the day-to-day. They are they're meant or they're expending their time on the real responsibility to the organization, which is strategic. Kasi kung kinukuha po natin yung time nila sa strategic, dinadala natin sa mga tactical day-to-day at menial things, nauubos yung lakas nila for things na hindi sila dapat doon nauubos. Yun. Kaya nga sinasabi ko, kung may gagawin ako na repetitive menial task nung nasa corporate ako, sa akin mo rin yan papagawa. Ang mahal naman ng bayad sa akin ng bangko para gawin ko yung bagay na dapat ginagawa na ng isang dinidevelop na junior. So, yun. Very important po yan kasi may mga deadlines tayo. Kung uubusin po natin yung time ni Sir Rads dun sa non-strategic, hindi niya magagawa yung mga milestones na pinaplano niya for the organization. And that's actually true also for a household. Kaya yung pong mga hindi natin natuturong house chores sa mga anak natin or kasama sa bahay, simulan na po natin yun kasi the parents should be more on the strategic stuff. Hindi dapat yung parents yung naglalaban ng damit ng mga anak, especially kung teenager na yung mga bata, di ba? And sa amin, modesty aside, bata pa lang talaga, elementary pa lang, meron ng assignment. Pati sa day kung kailan, nung una mga bata yung pamangkin ko, meron silang matrix na sinusunod kung sino yung maghuhugas ng plato, sino yung magwawalis, hanggang naging habit na po at tinanggal na yung whiteboard. Kasi nakatira doon yung tatlong apo ng nanay ko sa bahay. Minsan, lumulusot yung isang, syempre may pasaway na bata, di po ba, lumulusot. Kunyari, hindi sasabay kumain. Nagkataon na ako yung nagbabakasyon doon. Ang ginawa ko, syempre yung kapatid, huhugasan niya yung pinagkainan na hindi naman siya naka-assign. So in a week, yung batang masipag na sumalo nung nagpasaway, naging twice siya naghugas, which is unfair. So sabi ko, iwanan mo yan, hayaan mong pag-uwi niya, datnam pa rin niya yung plato na yan. It doesn't mean that he is out, and which is intentionally done, makaligtas siya sa kanyang responsibility. So pagdating niya, hinugasan pa rin niya yung plato niya. So, natuto na. Sometimes, tough love really works. Di ba, Pastor? Actually, hindi sometimes. Most of the time, sa mga taong pasaway. Yun. Hindi naman nila ikakamatay yun eh. But we really have to discipline them in that way. In the context of fairness. Kasi, nakakadagdag sila ng burden sa iba na gumagawa ng fair work. Okay. So, yun po. Sa quadrant 3, ang tatandaan lang natin, mga repetitive na bagay na hindi ganun kaimportante, pwede nang iwasan by teaching the juniors in the family to do those things. Or, pwede natin siguro may mga kaibigan tayo na napaka-minor lang naman ang kailangan, hindi naman quadrant 1 yung kanilang kailangan. Siguro, pwede nating i-manage yung expectation nila. Quadrant 4. Yan. Sa akin, sa layman's term ko, ito yung gully-bunting. Tama ba yon? Or excessive. Excessive time wasting. Yung mga non-productive things. Like bumming around, gossiping, telebabad. Ngayon, telenovela, yung mga addiction na inaabot ng madaling araw. Actually, tinry ko din yan. Hindi ko kaya. Mamamatay ako na maaga. Kasi unang-una you feel bad. Kasi it's not healthy for us to sit down for a long time and watch. Diba? Especially, we were talking about the exposure to the screen ni Sir Rads kanina. Nakakamaga ng mata, nakakasakit. And in fact, meron na akong allergies kasi sobrang tutok na sa screen. But a lot of kids nowadays are glued to their tablets, to their computers. And nabasa ko, sabi ng mga psychologists, ang parents were also trained that way kasi tumatahimik lang daw ang bata pag binibigyan na ng gadget. But that's so dangerous. Kasi nung araw, di po ba, we were all trained to play outside, dirt our hands, dirt our feet in the soil by playing outside and joining the house chores of planting, gardening, at kung ano-ano pa. So if you have heard some news po before or kahit ngayon siguro, lalo na ngayon, may mga batang-bata na inatake habang video games because they're not doing anything to exercise. They're always glued. Doon na sila kakain. Tapos syempre yung pagkain nila hindi rin healthy. Inatake na sila sa puso. And that's really, really dangerous. So yun nga yung sinabi natin sa alphabet of disciplined living. If it's not adding to your spirituality, to your productivity, to the sharpening the saw, ayaw naman natin maging magpaka-prude. Siguro hindi kailangan pagtuunan ng maraming time. Yung mga telenovela na nakakapagpadrama sa atin. Mga Pilipino po, sorry, hindi talaga ako agree sa mga telenovela. Talaga siyang time waster talaga siya. Plus, sorry po kung may tinatamaan, even my parents, pero pinagbigyan ko na sila kasi seniors na sila. Pero that's also part of the poor mindset. Kasi ang nakikita natin, puro emotions, puro pang-aape, puro paikot-ikot lang na istorya, yung cyclical na may inape, bumangon, bumagsak ulit, may inape. Nakakapagod po siya and I think it's a time waster. Kaya, ako po, very selective talaga ako sa pinapanood ko at binabasa. So, marami pong self-help books. The Bible is a very important reading material that we should go back to. And kung nahihirapan tayo doon, maraming self-help books. Marami sa Google na libre, madadownload mo na yung mga ibang books sa PDF natin na pwede nating basahin. Actually, when I was also distressing, kasi nga, if hindi nyo pa po yata alam yung story ko, I had 3 near deaths na before because of my rare condition, yung immune condition ko. I have CD4 lymphopenia. Ibig sabihin po mababa yung T cells ko at saka very lazy. So it doesn't fight infection. So in fact, yung COVID na yan, takot na takot dapat ako dyan. But because I'm shielded and God is, I think, protecting me by putting me inside my house even before the pandemic hit, natuto ako lalong mag-time manage. There was a time na hinahabol ko na yung buhay ko kasi I didn't know na syempre, nobody knows kung tatapusin na ba or hindi. Ang dami-dami ko pang na-accomplish, gustong ma-accomplish. So during the time that I was bedridden for a month or 2, nung una kong operasyon po, muntik na ako magka-sepsis, napansin ko talaga, if I'm not productive, talagang yun ang ikakamatay ko kasi nadidepress ako. Parang, why can't I do things that a normal person would do? So, meron mga event management noon na dinidelegate sa akin ng mga friends ko tsaka family members. Ang ginawa ko po habang nagre-recuperate ako dun sa sepsis operation ko, tinake on ko pa rin yung project. So habang nakahiga ako, telephone calls and everything, and I think it contributed to my easy recovery because when mentally we are productive and we are preoccupied with good things and we feel good that we achieve something, part po ng healing yun eh. Di po ba? Kasi being idle is also bad. And it's actually a work of evil, di ba? Kasi ang tendency mo, papasukan ka ng negativity. And you feel bad about yourself because wala kang na-accomplish. Tapos that time, nagri-ring lang ako ng bell para puntahan ako ng magpapakain sa akin and may magpapaligo. Ganun po ako ka-immobile dati. So, my mom told me, si nanay, anak, huwag ka nang mag-take ng mga ganyan-ganyan project kasi napapagod ka. Mga side, an extracurricular ko lang naman po yun eh. Kasi nga, gusto ko nung mga ganon, marketing and event management. sabi ko, pag in-stop mo ako sa ganito, lalo akong mamamatay ng maaga. Because, alam mo yung word na imbecile, you feel like you can do a lot of things, but you cannot. Yun po yung nagpapadali ng buhay ng tao, di ba? Especially kung likas na, masipag ka and curious and you want to be on the go lagi. So, yung mental health, katulad ngayon, madaming umiiyak ng mga bata because hindi sila nakakalabas, hindi sila nakakapaglaro. But I think they could physically be utilized by teaching them the house chores, like yung pagluluto, pagwawalis, paglalaba, lahat ng house chores na pwede nilang matutuhan. Yun. So, yan po yung 4 quadrants. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, I think hindi natin magagawa ngayon yung exercise for us to identify kung anong pinakamarami nating items sa bawat quadrant. You can do it on your own po. Ilista ninyo sa bawat quadrant yung mga activities nyo day to day, week to week, tsaka month to month para makita nyo po kung ano ang pinakamarami nyong box. Yan. Agree po ba kayo? Do you want to go through that exercise? So, pag madami po tayong quadrant 1, that's also bad. That's very bad actually. Kasi ibig sabihin, wala ka talagang organizations na quadrant 2. Kasi everything is a crisis. Remember po, ang crisis should be as much as possible externally caused. Yung mga beyond your control. Pero again, like yung COVID, kahit sinasabi natin siyang external factor siya, pwede natin siyang makontrol by being in quadrant 2, di po ba? Okay. At saka, in a day, alam na po natin and given na yan na may papasok laging quadrant 1. So kung yung mga items mo na dapat nasa quadrant 2, lahat nandito, tapos may pumasok pa na hindi mo talaga controlled na real quadrant 1, like na aksidente or mga ganong bagay. Ibig sabihin yun, lahat na ng buhay mo nandito sa urgent and important, which is all pressing and talagang nakaka-stress po yun. And stress doesn't help because stress kills. Yun. So, yung quadrant 4, lagi po nating tatandaan, ito yung mga non-productive things that we could avoid. We could have Netflix, pero in a regulated manner. Pati po yung sa mga, ito lagi ko pong ina-advocate sa mga parents to, kasi hindi naman ako naging parent. Let's regulate po the use of yung gadgets ng mga bata. Let's have a discipline kung after ng module, siguro 1 to 2 hours, hindi po yung iiwanan lang sa kanila and they could do anything with it. Kasi masama po talaga siya. Plus, siguraduhin po natin na may firewalls yung mga access nila sa World Wide Web, sa internet. Kasi maraming junk and evil materials sa WW na hindi natin alam na nakikita na ng mga minor and children natin. Meron po akong kasama noon na hapon, meron siyang mga anak, talagang hindi niya pinapagamit ng tablets for social purposes. And karamihan wala ngang social media accounts. Kasi, I think si Facebook nagre-regulate na rin ngayon, but some are able to circumvent that eh. Nakakapaggawa pa rin ng accounts even if minor pa sila. Yun. Any questions po ba? And did you find it helpful?
Yes, very
Yes
helpful.
po.
Yes po.
Can you give po example of your quadrant 2, Miss Edith? Sorry. Sharing lang po tayo. Or anything na tingin nyo po nasa quadrant 3 na pwede nyong lagay sa quadrant 2.
Ate Dita, tawag ang teacher.
Kung meron lang tayong personal, may premyo dapat ako sa mga sumasagot eh.
Hmm. Ano, may
Papasahan ko kayo ng load, Miss Edith. Load din, nasa abroad din, no? O kaya sa Rags to Riches, pasahan, pwede ba akong pasa doon ng credit, sir?
Pwede.
Pwede.
Yun. Magkano lowest denomination?
10 pesos
10
yata.
Ayan, magpapasa ako ng 50 pesos sa quadrat pag may sasagot.
Ano kasi yan? 50-50 ako sa quadrant 2 tsaka quadrant 3.
Yay! Very good, Ate Edith.
Depende sa mood ko kasi.
Pero tingin niyo po ba mai-improve niyo pa yung quadrant 3 niyo by moving it to quadrant 2?
Pwede po, pwede.
Anong item po kaya yun if it's not too personal?
Hindi naman ako
Exercise.
maano sa exercise yan.
Building relationship. Eh.
Wala na yan. Wala na yan.
Yan, papasa.
Medyo konting organized lang yan. Sa
Saka
phone
nga
calls
eh.
din naman ako gaano eh. Email din rin. Interruptions sa'yo kan mga ganyan. Para siguro pa nasa quadrant 2 lang ako.
Yay! Very good one. I think sa quadrant 2, ang kailangan na improvement area ng Filipinos is yung exercise. Hindi tayo mahilig mag-exercise, pati yung planning ng tamang nutrition, di po ba? If I may share, yung Japanese, that's why they're highly disciplined. Sa elementary schools nila, wala silang janitors. Alam niyo po ba yun? They clean
Ang
their
mga
own
bata din.
schools. Yes, they clean and go. Lahat yan sila ang gumagawa, pati paglilinis ng banyo, pati yung sa kitchen, yung sa canteen. Yan.
Ganun ba? Teka lang. May sasabihin lang ako sa anak ko. Teka lang. Joke lang.
Ayun. So, highly disciplined po sila. Clean as you go talaga sila. And makikita mo talaga sa manner ng pagtatrabaho nila. Ganon. It's a day-to-day thing. Yung sa bank po, when I was still with them, meron kaming 5S, no? May 5S kami on a periodic basis, yung parang Marie Kondo na clean up. Pero every day, we have to lock and clean up the table. Pag may nakitang nakalabas na dokumento, because bank yan, very confidential, di ba? Report. It will be a point against you. Kasama po yun sa key result area ng bawat tao. Ang tawag doon ay information leakage. Pagka may nakitang dokumento, especially if it's a customer document on top of your desk. Lahat po yan chine-check, pati yung ilaw, yung computer, kung in-off ba, kasi pwede rin magkaroon ng access yung iba, di ba? Sa Citibank naman, you're not allowed to share your password. Pag nahuli kang nag-share ng password, walang tanong-tanong yon, terminated ka right there and then. Yun. Tapos yung Japanese po, naka-embed sa curriculum nila yung sports. Sa elementary pa lang hanggang high school at college. So lahat sila, ang recreation nila is really exercise. They're really very athletic. They really, meron akong yung boss ko dati, yung favorite boss ko, si Shimura-san. Minsan, every Wednesday kasi, ano siya eh, ano yung mas mataas sa black belt, Sir Rads? Taekwondo. So, basta meron siyang yellow belt na yata siya or something. One Wednesday, nag-OT siya. Sabi ko, Shimura-san, bakit hindi ka nag-taekwondo ngayon? yung pala nakadisgrasya siya ng Filipino master also na parang na-injure niya yung leeg na sobrang galing niya. Which is, hindi actually error yon kasi dapat yung discipline, hindi ka maka-injure, di ba? Sa taekwondo. So he was penalized for that. Hindi siya naka-attend ng for some sessions. And to them, it's really a bad thing. Pero sa atin, hindi yun eh. Lalo ngayon, parang wala naman talaga tayong sinusunod na regimen sa pag-exercise eh. Tsaka being outdoors. Yun. Yung high impact deadlines, bakit nagiging ganito kung may proper planning sa quadrant 1? Like kami, example, nila Sir Rats, yung economic planning team, aayusin yun eh, yung step 1, 2, 3, di po ba, na produkto natin. Bawat isa nun gagawa ng project planning. Okay? Usually, sa project management, may tinatawag na buffer or allowance for slight delays. Pero kasi laging hindi naman maiiwasan na may codependency, magkakaroon at magkakaroon talaga ng delays. Kaya dapat may buffer. Pero, yung galing ng isang nagpa-project manage is, when there are delays, how do you minimize that? And how do you prevent it from being delayed further? Titawag doon damage control. Or, kung na-delay na sa isang component, ano yung ibang components ng projects na pwede mo na rin namang i-parallel? I think magaling na magaling dyan sila Sir Rads, yung pagpa-parallel. But not everyone is able to do that, yung parallel project management, no? Tsaka planning, or even house chores, or yung tinatawag na multitasking. Meron nga yung mga studies na yung multitasking daw is not a good habit kasi hindi raw nakaka-perfect ng isang task kasi nawawala ng focus. I think at some extent that's true, but there are people who really can do it masterfully. And there are people who are really genius. And si Chris Aquino is one. Kaya niya ng 4 na media sabay-sabay. Nagbabasa siya ng book, nakikipagkwentuhan siya, nakikinig siya, at ano pa ba yung isa niyang activity? Kasi sobra yung mental faculty niya. Kaya niya talagang gawin ng sabay-sabay na hindi nagsasacrifice or nagsasuffer yung isang area. Pero syempre sa prayer, hindi pwedeng hindi focused. Kasi marami talagang distraction and that's what evil wants, di ba? Evil spirits want for you to be distracted or harassed. Ayan, na-share ko na po sa inyo yung mga major sa Stephen Covey's Time Management Matrix. I hope you found something valuable and important. Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you. Lissa. Thank you.
Parang review school.
Yes.
Sa akin lang, gusto ko lang i-add, naalala ko yung kwento ng head pastor namin before sa Every Nation. Kasi at one point in time, sobrang dami ng members and churches sila nationwide and international. People were wondering how he can manage such a big organization worldwide. Sabi niya, very simple lang yung sagot niya eh. Nung nag-aaral pa lang siya ng Bible school, the professors or the teachers or the doctors or the bishops of that time would require a certain number of books to read in a week. So minsan nung uwi siya, ang hawak-hawak niya libro, 10. So ang question doon is, nababasa ba niyang lahat yon? Sabi niya, one of the skills of the leader, one of the key skills of the leader, of course, the obvious answer kung nababasa ba lahat yun, the obvious answer is no. Di ba? Kahit speed reader ka, mahihirapan ka doon. Di ba? So how do you choose what book to read? Ang sagot niya, by level of importance and relevance. Ibig sabihin, hindi mo talaga matatapos lahat, hindi mo magagawa lahat, hindi mo mababasa lahat, di ba? And the way you choose is by a level of relevance and importance. what is needed for the time, di ba? And that was how he was able to get through. And sabi niya, yung mga leaders dapat ganun kasi sobrang dami ng kumukuha ng attention nila, yung mga time waste na sinasabi mo, yung mga interruptions, di ba? And sabi niya, another key skill that a leader must have, and one of the most anointed word that you can say to someone who's trying to get your time, sometimes the most anointed word that you can say is no.
Yes.
Sorry,
That's
sorry, I'm not available.
Yeah.
Kasi, and that is true kasi 95% na minsan na ipinoproblema ng mga tao, hindi naman na problema talaga. And sometimes we want to be everything to everybody, no, we cease to be effective anymore. Diba? You need to be able to say no as a leader without need for further explanation. You don't need to always explain yourself. They know as a leader you're busy. They know as a leader you have higher priorities as a leader, di ba? Gaya na sa amin, hindi lang naman yung ministry ang pinag-uusapan dito. May si Lord, yung family mo, yung business mo and ministry, that is in the exact order of importance. Di ba?
Yes.
So, and he was saying that in the context of ministry kasi a lot of the pastors before were prioritizing ministry so much na hindi na naiisip yung mga pangangailangan ng pamilya. So he was explaining that in that context. No? So sabi nga, you need to be able to know where to put your time. Second, sometimes you need to just be able to say no without explaining yourself. And naranasan ko yan. Sabi ko, minsan lumapit ako doon sa head pastor naman ng The Fort, si Joey Bonifacio. And ano siya, sobrang in-demand siya sa speaker. And top performer ako noon. Isa ako sa mga top performer ng company. And I asked him that if I set a meeting at this day and time, would he be gracious enough to attend? So chinek niya yung palm pilot pa noon eh. And alam ko mahal naman niya ako. Alam ko mahal niya ako, di ba? So, and he said, sorry Rans, I'm not available. Let's try another time. Ganun lang. Pero nalaman ko na later on, na yung palang kaya hindi siya pwede ng date na yon, may date sila ng anak niya. Okay? So hindi niya gustong i-sacrifice yung date time niya ng anak niya sa business. Tinuro niya rin yan eh. The reason why you need to have this structure of priorities para pag nagkaroon ng conflict, you don't need to wonder anymore what to choose.
Right.
God, family, business, and ministry. Kaya nga sabi niya, at best, sabi niya, without offending you, my congregation, at best, you are number 4 on my priority list. Di ba? Kaya sabihin, so people should know. Di ba? Para wala rin false expectation. So, sinabi ko lang yon kasi, gaya ngayon, no? In the company, nasa back end ako, I have a little of both eh. I have a little of every quadrant, especially 1, 2, and 3. Di ba? May little of both yan eh. So nag-a-adjust ka, di ba? And sometimes, the best thing that I could do is to really just yung mga hindi na ako dapat na sumasagot, dinadivert ko na sa iba. Please approach your upline coach. Please ask LB. Please ask, di ba? Kasi hindi ko na dapat ginagawa yan eh. Di ba? And of course, I care for the whole Rancho Riches family. Diba? I need to do that. Hindi ko sinabi hindi importante yung concern niya, hindi lang urgent. There's a difference eh, di ba? Yun ang sinasabi mo, Lissa, di ba? Iba yung important, iba yung urgent. Yung urgent, kailangan ng gawin ngayon. Na hindi naman as important as yung important, di ba? Pero yung important na hindi naman urgent, pwedeng mamaya na. At meron naman dyan na hindi mo talaga kailangan akuin. Yeah. So maganda yung training mo.
Thank you, sir.
Marami nakakamiss niyan.